Something's messed up here. Open in browser. There we go. Hey! How we doing? Lauren, Sarah, Humphrey. Oh, it's so good to see everyone again. Oh, it's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute. I gotta kill some lights. I got carried away, folks. Woo, I got... Oh, let me turn that down a little bit. That's a really nice... That's a tasty jam. Wow, hey, everybody. Welcome to Orthodox Review, the most uneducated educational program here on the internet. Today, I'm your host, the guy with 1.5 thumbs. I am so happy to be here and totally ill-prepared for the live stream. This was my one day off. And then I've got Halloween off, but that's 2 days after my birthday, and I've just got a whole slew of stuff lined up. But there's stuff coming to the show. We're gonna get into it. We're getting there, so just hang tight with me for just a second here. Let me get all my ducks in a row, and we'll start with the good, because there are new books on the way. There's all sorts of stuff. Just hang tight. Oof, man, it is warm in here. Oh, there we go. Better mood lighting. Ah, balance is a little up. So anyway, yeah. Hi. So, no one's gonna watch this, and that's okay. It's been a while since I've been on. A lot of things are up in the air right now. The new job is just pounding me down in the best possible way. To get a little personal with you, I got out of restaurants about 7 years ago, not long after becoming Orthodox, so maybe about 2 years after, and just wanted to stay away from it. It was toxic. It just was a bad look. But I got a job at an independent living upscale retirement community. Pretty much I'm a private chef for about 150 people. That's great. It's a really cool place to work. It's a lot of fun. I didn't realize how much I missed cooking and kind of flexing my culinary muscles a bit. So I'm, glory to God for it. He's been much more merciful to me than I could possibly deserve. So thank God for that. The flip side to that is it's making it very difficult for me to muster the energy to complete work for the show, which is bad news for both my patrons and regular viewers. So that's kind of a thing. But there are a few things we should probably get into tonight. Again, no one's really watching this. What do you expect? You expect me to pop a beer, get drunk, and be stupid? My priest said I'm not allowed to do that anymore. So instead, I'm going to pop a beer, relax, and be informative. Because we do... We have 2 books on the way arriving next week. One was a pre-release that I ordered, and that is the St. Tikhon Monastery liturgy book for the faithful, which is kind of the faithful's companion to the Heraticon. These guys right here. Now, in the past, before the Heraticon came out, you had, and this was the final iteration of the Divine Liturgy book, which was everything. Everything's in there for the clergy and the laity. And this is I love this book. It's a great little book. This was the book that I worked out of as a catechumen when I was learning about the liturgy. And I'll never get rid of it. I, of course, marked the binding myself. But the Hereticon, although is great for study, and as a collector, it's great to have in the collection. The faithful have really no need for this book, and so to finally have its companion piece for the laity with like all the choir and parts and everything, I think is fantastic. I think, in my humble opinion, it should have been released at the same time as the Hereticon, because there are people out there that they want the latest service book. Here, let me put these back quick. So there is that. And the fun part is that, so I pre-ordered the book through my personal email, as I do sometimes. And then it turns out that they are sending a copy to Orthodox Review. That means I have 2 copies on the way. That means that 1 copy gets to go to a lucky somebody. Now, the issue I run into that with is I'm very bad at mailing things out, especially contest winners. Like, I have a book for a contest winner like 6 months ago that I still haven't gotten to the mail with yet, which is horrendous. So I'm debating on whether or not I want to run a contest on the show, or if I just want to give it to someone locally who could use it. So stay tuned on that one. Yeah, the other book, and I'm going to pull this one up on the screen for you so you can see it. And there is some backstory to this one. So Metropolitan Jonah, if you're not aware of who he is a bishop in the Russian Orthodox Church outside of Russia. He was the former primate of the Orthodox Church in America. And some stuff went down and they gave him the boot for whatever reason. And then he was released to Road Corps. He has started a new monastery, St. Demetrios of Thessaloniki Skeet, in the greater Washington, D.C. area. He's been working very, very hard, and God has granted him many blessings in getting this place started. And so now they have an online bookstore like so many others do. So for those of you that don't know, or if you've never watched the review on it, the legendary Orthodox Prayers of Old England was compiled by Father Adrian Keller for the Western Rite. Well, they have now compiled a Book of Needs for the Western Rite, and it is being published through them. And so I just ordered it maybe in this morning. And so let's pop over to there, and there it is. And for those of you that are Western Rite nuts, this is going to be a lot of fun. Surprisingly enough, it's only $30 for a book that A, they probably printed in very limited numbers, and B, is not going to be widely distributed. That's a fair price for a hardback book. And so in here we have the Roman Rite and liturgical glossary, ritual notes, service outlines, conception through church, just all the basic Book of Needs type stuff that you would find. I guess the Eastern equivalent would be a small Book of Needs from STM. But anyway, so that's pretty rad, right? So that'll be a great companion piece. I'm really looking forward to digging into that, along with the service book from STM. But what I would like to call your attention to on their website is the amazing amount of books they're constantly adding. This is page 3. Let's go to page 1. Now, one of the upcoming episodes I'm working on is about acathists and canons, and there are a lot of websites you can go to for acathists and canons, especially St. Paisius Monastery out there in Arizona. They publish a ton of canons, but St. Demetrius recently added a ton, well, not a ton, quite a few canons, and they have like kind of all the greatest hits of prayer books. Spiritual Psalter being one of my all-time favorites. Some New Rome Press stuff, but here we have some canons to some recent saints. Saint Porphyrios, Joseph the Hesychast, Saint John of Shanghai, and San Francisco. So very recent. The supplicatory canon to Saint Paisios, the New of Mount Athos. I actually have a copy of that. Elder Cleopas, an akathist there. The akathist to Saint Paisios. This is actually a New Rome Press publication, a fantastic. And these are all solid. The canon to Saint Luke the Surgeon. I need that in my life. Saint Ephraim of Neomarchy. Yeah, so I would highly recommend checking out St. Paisios. That's virginiamonks.org for what's going on with them. Ooh. Stuff's getting bought tonight, you say, Keith. Oh, man, I got my first full-size paycheck today. It was, it's been a long time. So yeah, so stuff for the show was procured. Not that I don't always already throw Patreon money into the show, but you know, sometimes I gotta throw a little extra out there. So yeah, virginiamonks.org. Go ahead and support Metropolitan Jonah Pathausen. I do not pray the monastic urinal anymore. I used to, and now I've moved on to something else. But I know there are some people that said they were going to pop by the show. They had questions to ask. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this until about 7 o'clock tonight, because the old live streams we used to do, they just turned into, they were a mess. So we're just gonna we're gonna do this till 7. Right, Sarah? And we'll call it a day. Then I really wanted to touch base with everyone outside of the Patreon page and channel membership stuff, and just kind of reconnect with you guys. I got paid today. Decided to get a dumb phone, as I need to get over my hopeless smartphone addiction. You know, that's getting to be more and more a thing, and God bless you for it. I haven't been able to bring myself to that just yet, as one of the downsides to having a social media presence for a show is being able to access those things kind of on the go. This is the other thing. We'll see what happens. I'm constantly tired now. Just always tired. And it's kind of annoying. So I'll get up and I'll be like, yep, I'm going to get some work done today. And then, you know, that happens. So, but, you know, so I'm not making anyone any promises on how soon I'll be able to get the new content out. Just know that it's in the works. It's happening. It's just taking me entirely too long. Heineken, by the way, I've moved up a tier in life. I can now afford Heineken. Chefing is a 14-hour day, and it doesn't even matter if your shift is only 8 hours. You're still putting 14 into it. I did read Confessions by St. Augustine some time ago. It's a beautiful poem. I'm enjoying my new job. I feel so much better than my last job. I'm kind of glad I got fired. Glory to God, right, Devin? Like, that's the way it goes. Like, when I got let go from the vape shop, you know, towards the end of my unemployment there, it was kind of a bummer, but here I am in this kitchen doing something I never thought I'd enjoy doing again. Let alone doing it again to begin with, and you know, thank God, it's been a real blessing, and I was able through a religious exemption to avoid a vaccine mandate, so that's pretty cool. But I don't want to talk much more about that because it gets a little too political, I think. But Orthodox. Christian Orthodox Miracles and Prophecies. If you're not already following that channel, go over there and do so immediately. He's got some great content on that. What have I been reading lately? Here's the embarrassing part. Nothing. I don't have the energy to read, and that's really bumming me out. I will occasionally, like after morning prayer, because I read the third hour in a Discord server called Kursk Root Lodge, and so, which is great because it keeps me accountable and it keeps me praying. But a lot of the times, more often than not, I find myself going back to old prayer books and kind of thumbing through them and revisiting them. But when it comes, like, Sebastian Press actually sent me a stack of books, and that happened right before I got the job. So I feel terrible. I haven't had a chance to really dig into all the books they have yet, but if you're, and Sebastian Press has really been up in their game lately with books, like some really fantastic titles coming through there. Quick reads. Let me grab this stack of books that I got from them. Oh, gosh. A lot of pain, folks. A lot of pain. Let's see. In addition to the catalog they sent me, I should say. The catalog is as thick as a small book. But, okay, so from Sebastian Press... Oh, no, that's from my friend. First and foremost, and I need to get a video out on this sooner rather than later, they have this little prayer book for $5. And this is like the perfect prayer book. It's so simple, small, and to the point. And the artwork is just absolutely beautiful. So they know what they're doing over there. I'm still gonna put that sticker on something. So anyway, so we have John Zizioulas, Metropolitan of Pergamum, Illness and Healing in Orthodox Theology. Thin one. We've got Chrysostomos Stamoulis, Broken Images, an Introduction to Orthodox Fundamentalism. We have John D. Zizioulas. So yeah, that's that Metropolitan again. The Meaning of Being Human. And these are some of their older titles. You should see what they've got up on their website now. Dionysius Sclerus, Healing the World from Evil. Plato, Aristotle, Plotinus, and Proclus. So there's that. And again, none of these books are, considerably substantial, except for when we get to the end. Here we go. Constantine A. Bozines, John Chrysostom and the Roman Empire, a study in the political thought of the early church. This is one of their newer titles. Christos, Theresis, and Lydia Petridau. This is Philosophical and Theological Questions in Late Byzantium. George Pachymeres, and Pseudo Dionysius, the Areopagites, Divinus Nominibus. So that's a historical text for you. And I gotta tell you, the print quality on these, fantastic. I think they took a page out of New Rome's playbook when it comes to really spending time on making sure that the readability and durability of the books holds up. And let's see, Bishop Ignatius Midish, God Views Us Through Love. Another thin book. It's just a Western American diocese. And then let's see, the last one they sent me, and this is the closest thing they have to a chonky boy for me, and that's a little, just a hair over 200 pages. So if you include the name index, it's like 219 pages. This is Soul and Psyche as a Surprise. Psychoanalysis and Orthodox Theology in Dialogue, edited by Eudosia Deli and Vasilio Thermos. So, and there's that. So, Saint Sebastian Press has blessed me with all this, and I think I just need to do an episode where I'm just pimping this stuff, because they really deserve the bidness. And then, on top of it all, being a fan of Ephraim Lash, My good friend Ephraim, who I've known since before I was Orthodox. We became fast friends on the internet when I was still a catechumen. Sent me this, an Orthodox prayer book, English translation by Ephraim Lash. But this was published by the Society of Saints Alban and Sergius in England. And for those of you that don't know what that is, I went into pretty decent detail on that in the review for Orthodox Christian Prayer. Is that the name of the book? Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, no, it's called Eastern Orthodox Prayers. And the forward from that one was from Alexander Schmemann. But that was also the product of that Society of St. Alban and Sergius out of England. Much older translation, of course. But they are a society that was established in England right after the Revolution. There are a lot of Russian refugees. And just Eastern Orthodox refugees in general coming to the shores of England. And so parishes were being set up there and whatnot. And so that society was set up as a fellowship for the dialogue of the Russian church with, the Church of England. And a lot of converts come through that way. But so Ephraim Lash, Archimandrite Ephraim Lash of blessed memory, is responsible for a lot of translations. And this one is not too dissimilar from the one that we find in the Anthologian, or even the ones we find in New Rome Press Publishing, as they are all based on the same translation by Ephraim Lash. But there are some neat little tidbits in there that you don't normally see in your typical Eastern Orthodox prayer book. So it was really cool to kind of dig into that. And unfortunately, and knowing what a junkie I am for prayer books, I have not really been able to do a deep dive into that even. That's how much time of mine is getting eaten up. Even for my extracurricular stuff, like the guitar pedal stuff. Like I got a new guitar pedal today. I played with it for maybe 15 minutes, and I was like, well, okay, I got to move on to the next thing, and I'm trying to jam everything into a 24-hour period. Let's check in with the chat here. But I have to be careful. My civilian job is tied to my military job. Yada 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 yada. What if okay? Are you gonna do another video on that Haddock Bible? I would love to, given the time. It's right up there. I'd like to get more into the notes on the Haddock, and so I'm probably gonna wind up purchasing a more recent printing of it, so I don't risk damaging that copy any more than I already have. Let's see. I don't have to get up at 4:30. It's 10 minutes down the road. So much better. Devin, I'm jealous. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning whether I like it or not. Thanks, cats. But luckily, I do get to take a nap before work. The problem is that instead of taking a nap, I'd much rather be working on the show. Is who a rapper? I think I missed something. Oh, it's because I'm looking at top chat and not live chat. Because, I'm not that smart. Alright, whatever. You guys fast. What? Oh, hey, Tyler. Most of the English priests I've spoken to are ex-Anglican. Yep. That's what happens. Look at Spiridon Bailey. He was an Anglican priest. And now he's one of the most based Orthodox priests on the face of the planet. I love that man dearly. I just realized I opened a beer when I had one open. That's not good. Especially after having coffee. Anyway, so we got about a half an hour left. Kind of like to open it up to you guys now that you know what's going on with the show, what books we have coming up. We've also got the bit on Acaths and Canons. We are going to get back into the liturgy study, and that's actually the easiest one for me to produce, believe it or not. So be on the lookout for that sooner rather than later. We've actually been discussing Father Thomas Hopko in the Discord chat a little bit. Hard to get around the whole the Anglican Church exists because of a fat dude wanted a divorce thing. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. You were struggling with one of the authors, and it sounded like John. Oh, yeah. It's it's when you're trying to read off a name that's in like Serbian, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Roman Catholic, do you think you'll be comfortable praying the publican's prayer book? There's one mention of the Pope in there, and the simple swipe of a pen removes it. I have two editions of the Publican's Prayer Book. It's a really well put together prayer book. Batteries are dead. But I would say, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I prefer the Anthologian now, only because it takes all the guesswork out for you, and it really makes keeping the liturgical order of the day very, very easy because of the way the book's set up. So, of course, you could always just, become Orthodox. Jump onto the winning team. But, and actually, going back to my friend Ephraim, who sent me the Ephraim Lash book, the first version of the Publican's Prayer Book I got was a gift from him. And I've had it for 7 or 8 years now. Yeah, I used it. I'm not a huge fan of that particular translation, but it's not bad. It's not a bad translation. It's just, at the time, I wasn't ready for it. Let's see. I mean, I am Roman Catholic. Would I be comfortable praying from that book? I should hope so. I think everyone should pray from an Orthodox prayer book. I did a video recently talking about why use a prayer book, and we kind of got into the subject of praying the prayers of the saints versus using our own words, and how actually these prayer books aren't a die-hard, this is all you ever pray. Prayer books teach us how to pray. And so I should think that any Orthodox prayer book is profitable for the soul because it teaches us how to pray more deeply and more sincerely. Who'll end up converting? Oh yeah, Gunk Savage. Yeah, once you dip your toes in Orthodoxy, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but sometime before your repose, you'll wind up one of us. Humphrey says, I like learning about the Old Rite. Do you have a favorite prayer in that tradition? I do, actually. And this is going to seem very simple, but I think its inclusion in the Old Rite prayer book speaks volumes. And it's the prayer to pray more fervently for someone. And what page is it on? Hold on a second. I really miss my second edition. Let's see. So, and you'll find this on page 19 in the red version, in the morning prayers. If you wish to pray more diligently for someone, say this, Troparian. And so it goes, save, O Lord, and have mercy on thy servant, name. And then you bow. Deliver him, her, them, from every tribulation, wrath, and need. Another bow. From every sickness of soul and body. Bow. Forgive him, her, them, every transgression, voluntary and involuntary, in the bow. And do whatever is profitable for our souls. And like unto it, there is a prayer like that for the departed. Grant rest, O Lord, to the souls of thy departed servant, name, and a bow. Forgive and have mercy on him, her, them, for whatever sins they have humanly committed, as thou art a God who lovest mankind, another bow. and deliver them from eternal torment. Bow. Make them a share of the kingdom of heaven. Bow. And do whatever is profitable for our souls. And they have one like it for multiples, which is pretty much what I read. And I think those two prayers are really what sells me on this book. And actually, I printed up some cards with those prayers on them years ago, and I think they, Church of the Nativity used to as well. Just knowing that, because is the biggest question I find that I've run into early on, and even today, and a lot of people run into when it comes to prayers and praying for people, is there's not a very good formula for it, except this one, I believe. Because it does, it's so much more than just, Lord have mercy on thy servant, Joe. So the Albright Prayer Book, even if you're not going to use it all the time, is a treasure trove of useful prayers and practice and piety. So I always recommend that one. Let's see. Prayer Roll of St. Pachomius. Yeah, that's a good one. And that's one of those that, like, more and more you see in much more recent prayer books. The Saint Tikhon's book jumps up to mind is that it's in there. The last episode I did actually on the Pray Always app, which if you haven't downloaded that app yet, do it. I'm just going to tell you, do it. Because it's got everything in there. The Rule of St. Pachomius is on there as well. And you'll realize that the rules of, like, St. Pachomius, St. Seraphim, St. Dionysius, they're all pretty much based around just, like, having the Trisagion prayers, Psalm 50, and then some rule of repetition where you're practicing the Jesus prayer or the Hail Mary or what have you. So, what did I miss? If I did convert, what I have to be baptized in the Orthodox Church? I don't know. That's up to your bishop. The covered air Psalter. Yes. Oh, you're welcome, Humphrey. Hey, mostly just gay. Yeah, what's up, dude? Let's see. So many typos. What's that? No, it's all good. I'm so glad to see so many people popping out for this. Not for the show so much as to reconnect with one another in the chat, just like back in the day. It's very nice. Yeah, I'm getting froggy already. Ugh. This Sunday, I got Halloween off, and that's a Sunday, so I get to go to liturgy then. That's pretty cool. I don't like missing liturgy. I really don't, but, sometimes I guess I gotta do what I gotta do. Once we hire another cook, things will change. But, anyway. So, let's see. So, we've covered that. Any other questions tonight? Who was it? And I think it was Gunk Savage. Was it you that private messaged me and was like, "Oh, I'll ask you a bunch of questions in the live chat." So yeah, this goes to show I lose track of things so easily now. But yeah, so if anyone, how is this tasty boy? This tasty boy is delicious. So delicious. Also, lbstreetwear.com. The reason I mentioned that, I designed a shirt for this company, and I'd like it all if those of you that are able to would go out and buy it. lbstreetwear.com. There's a shirt called Orthodox Bling, and that's your boy. So show some love over there. Go get a shirt. Have I read Lord of the Rings? Oh man, yeah. About I don't know, 30 years ago. I've not read it recently. Raul, hey. My brother, he's the one to talk to about Lord of the Rings. But yeah, wise words, man. Well, first of all, glory to God on your baptism and congratulations. I have no wise words. I'm not a very wise man. I'm an idiot with a camera on the YouTubes. I'm on the YouTubes. How much more boomer can I get? Just keep the faith, man. Like, you went there for a reason. Stay. Go to church, say your prayers, remember God. You know? Remember humility. Orthodox bling. Orthodox bling. Yeah. Right on, Tyler. Don't spit until the priest tells you. That was probably the most enthusiastic part of my chrismation. I was like, that was great. Yeah, I remember Tyler's baptism. I was there for that one. For those of you that don't know, Tyler attends St. Basil's here. And I was there for his baptism. Woo, man, he was a chilly boy. Yeah, lbstreetwear.com. Sure. There's some other cool stuff on there too. My buddy Andre, he's always trying to start some company where he can make money and whatever, and it's like, God bless him. But he found this one font. It's like an Orthodox type font. I was like, man, that looks really cool. Let's do something with that. And so he did. He came up with this. He was like, yeah, we'll do like Brain Street. And we started working on colors and stuff. It was really cool. So I helping him out, because honestly, like, he's been a huge help to me the last few months. So anything I can do to help him out is great. How's Oshawott? He's good. He keeps tipping over, but he's doing okay. He's got a new friend. This is Rick the Hamster from the Kirby video game series. Hamsters are adorable, and this one was a gift from Tim. So I've got Rick the Hamster hanging out with Oshawott and my boba tea, and the little. Well, you can't see him, he's off camera. This is the little squishy guy I got when I had COVID, and my Ernie ball cap. So, yeah, but no, Oshawott is keep an eye on that shoreline. Let's see. Yeah, you don't actually have to have a glob of spit. It's it's a thought that counts. Tell him to do another run of LB shoes. Those looked rad. Oh yeah, the Lackbrain stuff. Yeah, Lackbrain. I'll talk to him. About it. He's actually out of town this weekend, so I've got the place to myself, which means absolutely nothing because I'm working all weekend. But yeah, Saint Joshua, son of Nun. Nice. Good choice, Humphrey. Well, they're all good choices. Every saint's a good choice. So, yeah, buddy. I'm just so thrilled to be here with everyone. I'm so glad to see you all doing your thing again. I'm trying to think of what else. I didn't write down any notes for tonight's show, so please forgive me on that one. I thought there was something else I wanted to mention. I can't remember what it was. That's okay. So, thoughts on celebrating saints who lived in sin either before or after they came to Christ? Yeah, that would be everyone. Cross-dressing is, but I'm trying not to be problematic. There is a saint. Let me think of his name. A certain Saint Macarius, a wonder worker. Worked all sorts of wonders and miracles, was a great man of prayer. He lived in a cave outside of town, and a man once came to him with his daughter. I don't really remember what the distress was, but the man said, "Please look after my daughter. I'll be back to retrieve her." I think she was going to be kidnapped by Muslims or something. And the saint begged the man, "Please don't leave her here. It's a temptation." Da, 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 da. And mind you, this saint had done amazing things through the Lord for this village. And the man kept insisting and insisting and insisting. And finally, the saint said, "Fine. What choice do I have?" And the spirit of lust overtook him. And he raped and murdered her. And then spent the next 40 years living in a ditch, trying to atone for such a heinous sin. And he didn't work any miracles. He just prayed. So after all these decades, the village was dealing with a horrendous drought. And the people remembered him. Well, there was this monk Macarius, and he lived in a cave, and he had favor with the Lord, and, with a word, he could pray and do these wonderful things. And so they went out in search of him, and finally they found him living in a hole in the ground, and he just wasted away. He was still beating himself up. And begging God for forgiveness. He never heard an angel. He never heard the Lord's voice or anything. He just 40 years of just. And they said to him, "Please, Father, come out of your hole. Come and help us. God listens to you." "Oh, God won't listen to me anymore. I'm chief of sinners. I'm horrible. I'm detestable. I'm reprehensible." And so they finally convince him to get out of the hole. They drag him to town. He goes, and I really wish I had the text on hand for this one. He prays something to the effect of, "Lord, I'm a worthless sinner. I've done nothing good before thy sight. But, your people, they love you. They're begging you for your help, but, not for my sake, Lord, but for their sake, hear their prayer." And immediately the skies opened up and rain came down, whatever. Grace returned to him, or he felt that the grace of God had returned to him. So no matter how horrible you think the offense might be, our Lord is infinitely merciful. But we got to be honest. As far as homosexuals, cross-dressers, that sort of thing, it's never spelled out explicitly, but when it comes to modern saints that we know of having those thoughts, Father Seraphim Rose, of course, is at the top of the list as a repentant homosexual. I know monks personally that are homosexuals, former cross-dressers, that sort of thing. And it's honestly, we're looking at the sin, aren't we? I mean, who knows how many countless saints struggled with these demons. When a saint says they struggled with the demon of lust, you don't know what they were lusting for. It could have been, they could have had an obsession with writing utensils or men or anything in between. So I think it's admirable to want to look for people that share the same struggles as us, interpersonally, to identify with. But in the greater picture, what we're identifying with is the struggle against sin itself, and not necessarily a specific sin. But being who I am, I get it. I'm totally there with you. So I would say look to the saints who struggled with sin and battled the demons of lust, no matter what the lust was for. The demon of greed, of self-serving, we're all sexually inclined one way or the other. It doesn't matter. It's not a matter of what we're lusting after so much as the lust itself. And that is my 2 cents on that. Let's see. St. Mary of Egypt, of course, dirty whore. And look at her. She's a saint. I mean, and you got to think too, and this is worth noting, and it's kind of going off scripture a little bit, but people are like, patron saint of prostitutes, the Lord hung out with whores, yeah, and guess what happened? They were no longer whores. Because there was repentance. Repentance, folks. You can't just hang out with prostitutes and be like, I'm a Christian hanging out with prostitutes. I did what fucking Jesus did. No, you're not. See, Jesus, being the Son of God incarnate, inspired and forgave them, and they sinned no more. Well, I'm sure they slipped or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, we hang out with these people in hopes of repentance. Rant over. Let me check in with the comments here. We've only got about 12 minutes left. My liturgy of St. Paul's Greek Orthodox Church in Irvine. That's awesome. Mary of Egypt, yes. Life from works Caesar. Oh yeah, Senator from Rose is definitely a saint. Firearms and chicks. Totally gave himself the praise. Yeah. Homeless sexuals. I've been one of those persons. Yeah, same difference. We struggle against sin, not lifestyle. I mean, if the lifestyle is informed by sin, then yeah. Folks, it's not rocket science. People seem to think that there's this deep philosophical thing going on with Orthodox Christianity and the way we view sin. It's not. And this is, I'm not saying this to be all like sola scriptura or whatever, but it's like everything necessary, like our basic text is the Bible, all right? Everything, all the basic stuff you need to know about how to behave as a Christian is in the Bible. We try not to break the commandments of God. Don't rape, don't steal, don't bang around, don't, the basic moral stuff is the guiding line in there. So try not to be a douchebag, give God his due, and try your best to be a positive example of those things. There's the fucking Holy Trinity right there for you, as far as, marching orders goes. I think they use them in 12-step programs, too. It's like, what the hell do they say in 12-step groups? It's, so something about clean house, find God, help others. I would put that in a different order. Find God, clean house, help others. But that's it in a nutshell, Bang around. Yeah, I know. And we're all gonna fail at it too. That's the thing. People seem to think that, like, if they think a bad thought or screw up, that they're totally fucked. I don't know. Maybe you are. I don't know. I fuck up like 20 million times a day. But no one can convince me that saints are perfect, because they're not. They're saintly because they they strove for it, and they got close. But through like hardcore prayer and asceticism, or maybe they just got a bullet in the head because they were Christian. Either way, listen, we strive for perfection, but we're never going to find perfection in person in this life. It comes in the next one. All right? This is practice. You know? Listen, 11th and the Juneteenth of the 14th of the month. Ooh, what the hell? Anyway, listen, folks. I'm not gonna lie. I've really got to use the bathroom. I've said all I've got to say about the show upcoming, and I'm so glad we got to have a conversation about that. Well, let's try to do another live stream next week. I usually get out by 8. I'm home and out of the shower by about 8:30, 8:45. If you guys are into doing like a 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time live stream, we could do it again. I got to talk to my priest about it first, though. It's because it has to be focused. It can't just be nonsense. But let's do that. At any rate, check out our Discord server. Links down below. Continue talking with one another. There's no reason people have to come to a live stream to have these conversations. You could be doing this right now. But at any rate, I love y'all, and thank you so much again for sticking with the show, despite its inconsistencies and everything. It really means a lot that there are so many people that are still interested in the nerdy little things about books that I am, and collecting them and everything about it. So anyway, on behalf of Spooky Cat, hey Spooky, she's over there in the window, Oshawott, her mom, myself, thank you all so much for your support. I love you dearly. Please, please, please pray for me. Don't forget to go to church, say your prayers, and remember God. God bless you all, and we'll see you next time.